NBA draft time, and we're not going to waste any time getting into this part of the story. As you all know, James Iverson was already in the league and he was doing his thing. Being drafted to the New York Knicks, he was named Rookie of the Year, and not only that, but he somehow managed to help that team win an NBA championship. We all know that MK3 was a hater, and he was already shooting himself in the foot on social media, letting the world know that whatever team he got drafted to was going to be next up, and he would do it easily. Speaking of that team, let's talk about how MK3 and Devin were doing as far as NBA scouts are concerned. They said Devin was going to do big things and they could see him developing into a Hall of Famer one day. NBA scouts loved his tenacity and his willingness to play the game the right way. MK3's evaluation wasn't too far off as well. Scouts were looking at him in a much different light than last year, and I can't lie, he had straightened up his act, and it was showing. Now fast forward to the draft lottery, and it was looking as if Devin and MK3 were either going to the Wizards or the Jazz. The most shocking part was that Devin was actually projected to go number 1 and MK3 was projected to go number 2 in the draft due to team need. If you ask Marcus how he felt about it, he'd probably tell you it didn't matter because he wasn't going to fight or hate on his cousin. But on a deeper level, he wanted that number 1 spot. And when it was draft day, Devin was indeed selected number 1 to Washington, and MK3 went to the Utah Jazz at number 2. What MK3 was more concerned with was that check, and he locked in a 2-year $29.63 million deal, and his cousin secured a 2-year $33.12 million deal, and the cousins were happy and, most importantly, richer than they were before. Let's move ahead to Summer League, and MK3 agreed to play one game. He was definitely in his diva era, and Utah agreed because, let's be fair, he was an asset to this team. And here's why. Jumping right into the game, get into the lane, Euro step through, lay. Utah playing great defense, getting a glimpse of downhill Trey as he fights his way to the rim. Out-muscling his defender, another tough one goes. Finally seeing him in a half-court setting, showing his quickness with the ball, leaves this man stunned back to the rim for another lay. Another quick move leaves the defender lost. Euro with the switch at the rim, and he's just showing off now. Flexing his athleticism, blowing past the box out, amazing putback for the rookie. Fast break, defender loses him. He pops out for the three-pointer and gets it to go. And you know he had to show off a bit, letting that summer league know he was really like that. Shot clock winding down. Who else do you give it to besides the best player on the floor? Easy lay. Seconds left in the game, downhill, hanging on that rim, and the crowd is in love with him as he dances back up the court, not even trying to play defense anymore. And that was game. The anticipation of seeing MK3 play in an NBA setting was finally over, but now the real anticipation started because we all wanted to see what he was going to do in a real NBA game. And he did not disappoint those few months in between Summer League and the regular season, constantly hyping his debut like a boxer. The media took full advantage of the outspoken rookie who would always find himself going viral for what he was saying. One of the craziest interviews was with Stephen A, and MK3 said some crazy stuff.
We know the last season in college, you were a man amongst boys. You should have been in the NBA, but we won't go there. What do you have in store for NBA fans now that you are here?
Oh, it's going to be the same action as it was in college. Now that I'm here, you're going to see how I take over, no problem.
Are there any NBA superstars that you are looking forward to playing?
Oh, definitely Giannis. He's such a great defender. I want to go at him for sure. Victor, he's super tall and everybody thinks he can't get the business, so I'm trying to do that as well.
Okay, now hold on. You talking heavy. Will you be able to back this up?
I promise you. There is no one better than me in the league right now. I'm smashing on all them guys. Well, you heard him. And first up on that schedule was none other than Giannis and the Bucks. Giannis wasn't one to back down from a challenge, and neither was MK3, but I wasn't too sure how much MK3 knew this challenge was going to be, especially since he was a rookie and Giannis is an NBA champ. But nevertheless, let's get into the game, and MK3 is starting off strong, playing great defense at getting the board, then down court. He shows his confidence, throwing up an early 3, and it actually goes in. But Giannis is locked in, getting to the rim for a nasty poster. MK3 sizing up Giannis, trying to figure out the best way to make his move, eventually attacking Giannis with no fear, switching up the shot, and he gets it to fall. Look at Giannis throwing up a last-second 3, and that shot falls, letting you know this is going to be a special matchup. Then he comes right back, head down, real Giannis attacking the lane, tough layup. Then right back at it, pushing off his defender, making another tough layup look easy. Marcus's turn. as he comes downhill, spinning off, getting the and one to go, and that's a big statement for the Utah team. Coming off the screen, MK3 taking his time, pulling the three, get it out the net. And Markus is back, flexing again, letting the Bucks fans know that it's over from that point on. Quick first step from the top of the key, looking like Giannis on that rim. Popping out from the down screen, Markus finds himself open again, no hesitation, get it out the net. Tough shot over Giannis, no worries. MK3 on the board, pump fake into the easy layup, and the guys are cooking. Markus wanted to take the three here, but he knew his defender was soft in the paint. Strong move, and that's another easy bucket. Hiding behind that screen, Markus taking his time again, gets the jumper to fall, and the Bucks need a timeout. But Markus was standing on business this game as he finishes the Bucks off with a nice baseline dunk, and that was a huge win for Markus and the Utah Jazz, opening the season beating a championship team. Markus finished with 29.6 boards and 3 blocks. But everything that glitters ain't gold. You know the spoiled brat had to show his face sooner or later. Markus, plain and simple, had a partying and spending problem, and now that he was an adult with his own money, it was getting worse and worse. Being able to spend his money how he wanted was the issue. It used to be daddy's money that he would go shopping with, and it had limits. Nowadays, there was no limit, and the partying was crazy. There wasn't a moment when he wasn't partying. He was not putting in extra time in the gym. He was spending all that time flexing and getting with girls. This led to him suffering his first major injury to his left patella that would bench him for 2 to 4 months. And instead of going to rehab to get better quicker, he was out partying, enjoying the life. So with missing 4 months of basketball, he was finally back and was able to face off against another player he called out at the beginning of the season. But this team was much different than the one he thought he was going to be playing. Starting off slower than usual, Jimmy Butler comes out firing and gets an easy bucket. But Markus quickly found his footing as Utah is playing great defense, and on the other end, we see Markus sky for a nasty poster from the lob. And of course, in true MK3 fashion, he's showing off on the way back down the court. Downhill Trey making an appearance, getting to the rim, tough lay on the defense, and he's all smiles on the way back. He had plenty to smile about now as he makes his way back to the rim for another big dunk. Calling for the screen, it's a wide open lane to the basket, and that's an easy lay for him. Another screen, and this time he sets his feet and pulls the three. Might as well get that out the net. Look at the fearlessness in his eyes, driving to the basket. Victor in his way, he doesn't care, running through him, getting the and one to go. And that was a big bucket for Markus as he claps and shows off in Victor's face. Getting Jimmy to give him some space as he takes what he gets. Easy jumper, get it out the net. Jimmy giving him too much space again. Another jumper and another bucket for Markus. But Jimmy was on one in this game as well. Look at the nasty step back, and Markus can't keep up. Nice jumper. MK3 wants it back this time, bringing the pressure to Jimmy, the bump and the foul. Getting the and one, that's a tough one for sure. 2-point game, and MK3 senses the urgency as he blows past his man for an easy lay at the rim. Pump fake, got Jimmy shook, driving the lane, tough lay, and San Antonio calls the timeout to try and stop MK3 from getting too riled up. But Victor Wembanyama comes back out, firing and making a tough jumper to ultimately put out the MK3 fire, and that's game as the Utah Jazz fall to San Antonio 56-63. Markus would finish with 29 points, 4 boards, 2 assists, and 1 steal. Now, unfortunately, lightning would strike twice for Markus due to the consistent partying and not taking the proper care of his knee. He would spend another month and a half on the bench, and the team thought it would be best to just bring him back for the postseason runs in the hopes to win a championship. And because of this, Devin would end up winning Rookie of the Year, and Markus was genuinely happy for his cousin, of course, throwing a party in his honor. But that didn't mean that Markus was not on time in that postseason. Fighting his way to the Western Conference Finals against Dallas as Utah was about to do the impossible and sweep that team for the West. Now we're jumping in at game 4 where MK3 has carried the guys, and it shows as he cashes out a deep 3 to get the game started. I mean, look at him attacking the rim on the miss. That's a nasty putback. Then again, on the boards, throwing Trey Thompson out of the way, then throwing it down. He was locked in. Fast break, Draymond trying to body him up, makes it an easy lay for Markus. The screen into the attack, getting the and one to go, and Markus is back in his bag, flexing on this Dallas team. Screen, jumper, get it out the net. Another screen, taking his time. That's a 3. Get it out the net. Fast break, and the unfortunate happens as Markus goes up for a lob in traffic and comes down tweaking his hip. And that would have been game for him, but he insisted on coming back out. And although his hip is killing him, he gets to the rim easily, forcing Dallas to call a timeout as he winces back to the bench. Isolation with a hurt hip is crazy, but somehow, even with the loss of speed, he manages to get to the rim, and that's a bucket. Screen out of the corner, and he just walks into the three, and that's another shot going in. Same scenario, and he just walks into the jumper this time. Get it out the net. Look at this. Not even using his full speed, breaks Clay down, and that's another bucket for him. 2-point game, and MK3 is giving all he has, attacking the rim, throwing down a big dunk in Utah that would give them a 4-point swing and the sweep and a ticket to the NBA championship. Even with a hurt hip and the limited minutes, he still managed to put up 36 points, 5 boards, and 5 assists that game. Not only that, but he won Western Conference MVP. Although he was reckless, you had to admit he was a dog. And for the first time all season, he took his recovery seriously, obviously only for the NBA championship, and it was against none other than the Rookie of the Year and his cousin Devin and the Washington Wizards. The series was tied 3-3, and the Cousins were putting on a show every night, every game. This game would be no different. Utah starting off with great defense. On the other end, Devin had to watch as his cousin took flight on him for a crazy dunk to get the arena rocking. But Devin was locked in as well, dancing, getting around his man, nice floater. MK3 doing what he wanted, getting to the lane, showing off his floater as well. That's money. Calling for the screen, taking his time. Then out of nowhere, rises up, putting his defender in the rim. MK3 was locked in. Devin attacking the rim, making it look easy. The lay is good. Denying the screen, MK3 is too fast. Back at the rim for the lay. No screen needed this time. Catching his man off guard, big dunk. Fast break, and Washington is just too slow. MK3 hanging on that rim. Devin, even with a hand in his face, pulls one, and it just falls for him. Screen to the right, getting enough room to spin in a layup. MK3 back with the score. Fast break, and Devin knows what's coming, and the ref still calls a foul on the reverse lay, and Devin is heated. No way the ref's calling it this tight for game 7. 10-point deficit for Washington, and MK3 is just unstoppable in the lane. Freaky layup that somehow falls. It's just the MK3 show at this point. Nasty poster. Devin doing a little dance before halftime, throws one up, and it falls, which would eventually get him going. Coming off the screen, three-pointer is good, and Utah needs time to talk about it. Out of the corner, MK3 takes the jumper, and it's good. Screen again, not settling, attacking the basket, nice dunk. Look at the defense as MK3 hawks down his man, throwing the shot, and he just claps in their face. Markus, almost losing the ball at the top of the key, gets it back, frustrated, and throws one down. Big poster late in this game, and Washington needs another timeout. And the timeout was worth it because Devin came back firing, taking a big shot, and it falls. Then again, just right into it off the screen, get it out the net. Markus not being solid, puts his man in the rim, tough dunk, and Markus has the arena rattling with that one, getting the crowd on their feet on his way back down the court. Devin showing his strength at the rim, tough layup, but it just wasn't enough as Markus becomes an NBA champion, beating his own cousin and former teammate. Made it even sweeter. Not to mention, Devin beat James Iverson in the Eastern Conference Finals to get there. But 37 points, 8 rebounds, 2 assists, and 1 block was enough to give Markus the Finals MVP trophy he deserved. Now, after that season, Markus wouldn't win another championship due to the lack of taking care of his body until he was too old. He would retire early and become a college basketball coach after a very successful attempt at reviving his career overseas. But Markus Jones III will definitely go down as the brat that had all the potential but not enough sense to capitalize on it.
What a season, and I'm so glad you were able to lock it in towards the end. You did what I asked, and you were rewarded.
Yeah, I guess.
Listen, we don't have to end things like this. I only wanted to do what was best for you, and it worked out.
No, what you were trying to do was suppress who I am to get what you wanted.
We'll agree to disagree. All I wanted to do was